Dear child of God, listen closely. This message did not arrive by accident. You didn't click this because you were bored. You clicked because something in you is tired of guessing, tired of hoping quietly, tired of loving deeply and wondering if it was ever seen. This teaching is for the ones who have been strong for too long, for the ones who stayed soft in a hard world, for the ones who love God, yet still wonder why love has taken so long. Today we're opening something sacred, not fantasy, not emotional manipulation, truth, revelation, alignment. This video is titled, "This Secret Letter from Your Soulmate Was Just Found." Every line cuts deep. But understand this clearly. This is not about chasing a person. This is about God revealing timing, preparation, and the weight of love done right. This is about why your heart has been protected, delayed, refined, and preserved. This is about why what you wanted too early would have broken you. Scripture tells us in Psalm 37 that the steps of the righteous are ordered, not rushed, not chaotic, ordered. And when God orders steps, He also orders encounters. He orders love. He orders covenant. If you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or forgotten in love, stay with me. If you've ever questioned your worth because someone else couldn't recognize it, stay with me. If you've ever loved deeply and paid for it painfully, stay with me. Before we go further, I want you to subscribe to this channel, Daily Motivation Prayers. Not because of algorithms, because what we build here is consistency for your spirit. This channel exists to speak clarity where confusion lived, peace where anxiety ruled, and truth where lies took root. If you stay until the end, I promise you this: you will not leave empty. You will leave steadied, strengthened, grounded. This message is not meant to hype you. It's meant to anchor you. What you're about to hear is framed as a letter, but it's taught as wisdom. It's a revelation of what healthy, prepared, God-aligned love actually looks like. Not infatuation, not trauma bonding, not emotional chasing, but covenant thinking. Let's begin. Number 1. The delay was not rejection. It was protection. Most people misunderstand waiting. They think waiting means something is wrong. Scripture says otherwise. Proverbs 13 verse 12 tells us that hope deferred makes the heart sick, but fulfilled desire becomes a tree of life. Notice what the verse doesn't say. It doesn't say hope denied. It says deferred. Deferred means delayed with intention. If God allowed love to come too early, you would have called it blessing while it slowly drained you. You would have attached purpose to a person who wasn't prepared to hold it. You would have called chemistry what was actually familiarity with pain. Some of you were protected by unanswered prayers. You wanted connection, but God saw consumption. You wanted closeness, but God saw collapse. The letter imagery matters because letters are written in private. They're slow, intentional, thought through. God does not rush love that's meant to last. You weren't hidden because you were unworthy. You were hidden because you were valuable. Scripture says in Isaiah that what is holy must be prepared. Prepared soil receives seed without choking it. Some of the people you loved couldn't hold your depth because they hadn't healed their shallowness. They weren't evil. They were unready. Love is not proven by intensity. Love is proven by consistency. And consistency requires maturity. This is why God separates before He joins. This is why He heals before He aligns. Many of you were asking God for a person while He was working on your posture, teaching you discernment, teaching you boundaries, teaching you rest. Because love that costs you your peace is not love. The reason this message feels personal is because God speaks through recognition. When truth finds you, it doesn't scream. It settles. You don't need to chase what God has ordained. You don't need to prove what God has promised. The letter says, I had to grow before I could love you right. And that's not romance. That's responsibility. Healthy love doesn't arrive desperate. It arrives disciplined. Some of you confuse longing with readiness. But longing doesn't build capacity. Healing does. God withheld access not to punish you, but to protect the version of you that can finally receive without bleeding. You are not late. You are aligned. Ecclesiastes tells us there is a time for everything, including love. And when love arrives in its proper time, it doesn't feel chaotic. Feels calm. Feels safe. It feels familiar without being harmful. This is why you're still here. This is why your heart didn't harden. This is why you didn't settle. God was guarding the weight of what you carry. If this resonates, don't rush past it. Let it land. And stay with me, because the next section will confront one of the most dangerous lies people believe about love, that being chosen late means being second. That lie ends next. Number 2. Being chosen later does not mean being chosen second. This is where many hearts quietly break. Not from loneliness, but from comparison. From watching others be chosen first and wondering if that meant you were less desirable, less lovable, less worthy. Let me say this plainly. Order is not value. Scripture never measures worth by timing. It measures fruit. Jesus chose David after 7 brothers were overlooked. Was David second-rate? Or was he preserved for oil, not applause? Many of you internalized a lie that says, if it were real, it would have happened by now. That lie didn't come from God. Came from pressure, from culture, from watching highlight reels while carrying unseen weight. God does not rush covenant to satisfy insecurity. He aligns covenant to sustain purpose. Some people were chosen early because they could survive shallow love. You couldn't, because shallow love would have starved you. Being chosen later often means being chosen by someone healed enough to recognize depth. Someone who isn't impressed by performance. Someone who isn't addicted to chaos. Someone who doesn't confuse attention with intimacy. You didn't miss your turn. Your turn was reserved. The letter says, I had to let you go before I even found you. That's not loss. That's obedience. Some connections fail not because they're wrong, but because they're premature. 2 people can be right and still be wrong right now. Scripture in Ecclesiastes says there is a season for everything, including waiting, including becoming. Many of you loved while still bleeding, and instead of receiving care, you attracted people who fed off your openness without tending it. That's not because you were weak. It's because you were unguarded in a world that rewards emotional access without accountability. Later love doesn't arrive louder. It arrives clearer. It doesn't make you question your intuition. It doesn't trigger your abandonment wounds. It doesn't demand proof of loyalty before offering safety. Later love shows up with language you recognize in your body before your mind catches up. Calm, regulation, presence. Scripture says in 1 Corinthians 13 that love is patient. Patient love is not passive. It's intentional. If someone had chosen you earlier before they learned patience, you would have paid the price for their immaturity. Some of you feel like you've been watching life happen instead of living it. But what you were really doing was building discernment. Discernment is expensive. Costs you years. Costs you goodbyes. It costs you unlearning what you thought love was supposed to feel like. But discernment saves you from repeating cycles. Being chosen later means you're chosen by someone who knows what loss feels like. Someone who's already buried illusions. Someone who won't gamble with your heart because they understand the cost of mishandling one. You were never an afterthought. You were an answered prayer delayed until both sides could carry it. The lie says, why wasn't I enough back then? The truth says, you were too much for someone unprepared. Scripture tells us that God exalts in due time. Not early, not late, due time. If you were chosen early, you might have been celebrated but not protected. Seen but not covered. Desired but not cherished. Chosen later often means chosen with clarity, not confusion. This is why comparison steals peace. Because you're measuring your private process against someone else's public timeline. You don't know what they settled for. You don't know what they compromised. You don't know what they tolerate to maintain the image of being chosen. God didn't delay you to embarrass you. He delayed you to establish you. The letter says, I was afraid you'd never wait. That line isn't about insecurity. It's about honor. Honor says, I won't take you until I can keep you. Some of you needed to learn how to be alone without becoming isolated. How to desire love without idolizing it. How to be open without being available to everyone. Those lessons are not delays. They are foundations. Later love is built on healed identity, not unmet needs. It doesn't come to complete you, it comes to walk with you. Scripture says hope deferred makes the heart sick, but fulfilled longing becomes life. Notice the word fulfilled, not rushed. When love finally meets you, it won't apologize for the timing. It will make sense of it. You'll look back and realize the people who passed you by weren't losses. They were filters. If this is landing in your spirit, don't rush to interpret it emotionally. Receive it intelligently, because the next section will confront something deeper. Why the right love doesn't try to fix you, and why that changes everything about how you heal. Number 3. The right love does not try to fix you, it creates safety for you to heal. This is where many people get confused about love. They think love arrives with solutions, answers, pressure to improve, or quiet expectations to become easier to deal with. That's not love. That's control disguised as concern. Real love doesn't enter your life with a toolbox. It enters with presence. Scripture never says we are healed by being managed. We are healed by being known. Many of you were loved conditionally and called it growth. You were told, "I'd love you more if you were less emotional, less intense, less sensitive." That wasn't refinement. That was rejection wearing spiritual language. The letter says, "I couldn't fix you. I wasn't supposed to. I was just meant to love you as you heal." That line holds more wisdom than most relationship advice on the internet. Healing does not happen under pressure. It happens under safety. Scripture tells us in Psalm 34 that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He doesn't demand they stop being broken first. He draws near. Some of you learned to perform healing. You learned to say you were better so people would stay. You learned to downplay pain to avoid being abandoned. That's not healing. That's survival. The right love does not rush your process. It respects your nervous system. It understands that trust isn't built by words but by consistency over time. You don't heal because someone pushes you forward. You heal because someone stays while you unpack what hurt you. Many of you were attracted to fixers because you were taught love equals rescue. But fixers don't want partnership. They want power. They feel important when you're broken and threatened when you're stable. Healthy love does not need you dependent. It needs you present. Scripture says in Isaiah that the Lord longs to be gracious. Grace is not correction first. Grace is acceptance that leads to transformation. The person aligned for you won't make your pain the focus of the relationship. They won't turn your past into a project. They won't weaponize your triggers during conflict. They understand that your wounds are chapters, not definitions. Some of you are afraid that if someone sees your full story, they'll leave. But the right love doesn't fall apart under truth. It stabilizes under it. You don't need someone who constantly asks, "Are you okay?" in a way that makes you feel fragile. You need someone who says, "Take your time. I'm not going anywhere." That's safety. Scripture says love bears all things. Bearing does not mean tolerating abuse. It means holding weight without resentment. The wrong love grows tired of your healing timeline. The right love understands healing isn't linear. Some days you're strong. Some days you're tired. Some days you regress. The right love doesn't punish you for being human. Many of you healed partially alone because the people you loved didn't have the emotional literacy to sit with discomfort. So you became your own safe place. That's strength, but it was never meant to be permanent isolation. God does not heal you so you can stay alone forever. He heals you so you can love without fear of losing yourself. The letter imagery matters again here. A letter doesn't interrupt. It doesn't demand immediate response. It waits to be received. That's how healthy love approaches your heart. With patience, with reverence. You don't need someone who promises to heal you. You need someone who doesn't panic when you're honest. Scripture says perfect love casts out fear. Fear of being too much. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of being left mid-sentence. When love is right, you don't rehearse conversations in your head before having them. You speak, and you're met, not minimized. Some of you were in relationships where you had to edit yourself to keep peace. That wasn't peace. That was silence. The right love invites your voice without making you feel like a problem. You are not hard to love. You were just loved by people who hadn't healed their own avoidance. When the right love arrives, it won't feel like fireworks every day. It will feel like relief. Your body will rest before your mind celebrates. Scripture says the peace of God surpasses understanding. That's the marker. If you constantly feel anxious in love, that's information. Not about your worth, about the alignment. The right love doesn't compete with your healing, supports it. You won't be asked to choose between your growth and the relationship. They'll move at the pace of your becoming. And here's the truth many need to hear. If someone only loves you when you're healed, they don't love you. They love the version of you that requires nothing from them. The letter ends with, I wasn't meant to fix you. That's humility. That's maturity. Because only God heals. People participate. And when love understands its role, it becomes a place you can finally breathe. Stay with me, because next, we're going to talk about why love aligned by God doesn't arrive loud. It arrives quiet, steady, and unmistakable. Number 4. God-aligned love does not arrive loud, it arrives steady. One of the most dangerous misconceptions about love is that it must announce itself with intensity. Butterflies, urgency, obsession, constant contact, emotional highs followed by emotional crashes. That is not alignment. That is nervous system activation. Many of you were taught to mistake anxiety for chemistry. You were taught that if it doesn't feel urgent, it isn't real. But Scripture never associates love with panic. God does not shout peace. He establishes it. When Elijah looked for God, Scripture says he was not in the wind, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the still, small voice. That is how God often confirms what is real. Aligned love feels similar. It does not make you obsess over where you stand. It does not keep you guessing about intentions. It does not create emotional whiplash and call it passion. Feels steady. Predictable in the best way. Consistent. For some of you, that steadiness will feel unfamiliar at first, because chaos was the language of your past. Your body learned love through uncertainty, through waiting for replies, through overanalyzing tone, through hoping today would be different. So when something healthy arrives, your mind may say, this feels boring, but what you're actually feeling is safety without adrenaline. The letter says, when you think of me, think of calm, think of peace, think of rest. That's not poetic. That's neurological. Peace is not the absence of attraction. It's the absence of fear. Scripture says in Isaiah that God will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on Him. Peace is not passive. It's anchored. Aligned love doesn't chase you, chooses you. Chasing creates imbalance. Choosing creates stability. Many of you were pursued intensely, then abandoned suddenly. That's not passion. That's impulsivity without endurance. God-aligned love does not need to convince you. It shows up repeatedly until trust forms naturally. You won't need to decode signals. You won't need to read between lines. You won't need to interpret silence. Scripture says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Clarity is a spiritual principle. Confusion is not a test of love. It's a warning sign. Aligned love does not feel like walking on eggshells. It does not punish honesty. It does not withdraw affection to regain control. It stays regulated during conflict. That alone will feel foreign to some of you, because you're used to love that disappears when challenged. Love that shuts down, explodes, or threatens distance when things get uncomfortable. But mature love stays present. The letter says, I won't rush you. I won't pressure you. I just want to see you smile without fear. That's not romance language. That's emotional maturity. Aligned love understands that pressure creates performance, not intimacy. Scripture tells us that the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and open to reason. If love is not peaceable, it's not wisdom aligned. Some of you equated drama with depth, but depth doesn't need chaos to exist. The deepest oceans are calm on the surface. When love is right, it doesn't pull you away from God. It draws you closer. It doesn't require you to abandon boundaries to keep connection. It respects them. Aligned love does not compete with your calling. Supports it quietly. It doesn't make you smaller so it can feel bigger. It expands with you. Scripture says two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. That means aligned love adds strength. It doesn't drain it. You won't feel like you're carrying the emotional weight alone. Effort will be mutual, not negotiated. And here's something important. Calm love does not mean emotionless love. It laughs deeply. It desires genuinely, connects fully, but it doesn't destabilize you to do it. Your body will know before your mind does. Your shoulders will drop. Your breathing will slow. You'll stop bracing for disappointment. Scripture says the peace of God surpasses understanding. That's the confirmation. Not butterflies that fade. Not intensity that burns out. But peace that remains. Aligned love doesn't make grand promises in the beginning. It makes consistent choices. It doesn't overwhelm your life. It integrates into it. And if this feels unfamiliar, that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you're unlearning chaos. God does not heal you just to reintroduce confusion. If this is stretching your understanding of love, let it. Because next, we're going to address why love that lasts requires two healed people, not two perfect ones, and why that distinction changes everything about commitment. Number 5. Love that lasts requires two healed people, not two perfect ones. This is where expectations either mature or sabotage everything. Many people delay love because they're waiting to become flawless. Others rush love because they believe chemistry will compensate for immaturity. Both are wrong. Scripture never commands perfection before partnership. Calls for humility, growth, and accountability. Healed does not mean untouched. Healed means aware. It means you recognize your triggers without making them someone else's responsibility to manage. It means you can name your wounds without using them as weapons. It means you're committed to growth, not denial. The letter says, I've made mistakes. I've let people down. But I will never let you wonder if you're loved. That line is not about flawlessness. It's about reliability. Reliability is what builds trust. Some of you grew up believing love was proven through suffering. That if it didn't hurt, it didn't matter. But Scripture says love is kind. Kindness does not require injury to be real. Two healed people understand their shadows. They don't project them. They don't expect their partner to compensate for unprocessed pain. They take responsibility for their inner work. Healing does not erase history. It changes how history influences your choices. Many relationships fail not because love wasn't present, but because self-awareness wasn't. Scripture says, above all else, guard your heart. Guarding does not mean closing. It means stewarding. Healed people don't overshare to fast-track intimacy. They let trust develop naturally. They don't confuse vulnerability with immediacy. Some of you were taught to love hard without being taught to love wisely. You gave access before there was consistency. That wasn't generosity. That was hope without discernment. Love that lasts requires two people who can self-regulate, who don't explode or disappear during conflict, who don't threaten abandonment to gain control. Scripture tells us that anger does not produce the righteousness of God. That includes relational anger. Healed people know how to pause before reacting. They don't escalate to feel powerful. Perfection is not required. Presence is. The letter says, I won't rush you. I won't pressure you. That's someone who understands timing and capacity. Unhealed people rush because they fear loss. Healed people move steadily because they trust alignment. Some of you are afraid that if you take too long, love will pass you by. But what passes you by when you wait is dysfunction. Scripture says the wise build their house on rock. Rock takes time to build on. Love built quickly is often built on sand. Two healed people can apologize without collapsing into shame. They can receive feedback without defensiveness. They can disagree without threatening the relationship. That is emotional maturity. Healing doesn't mean you won't have bad days. It means you won't abandon each other on those days. Some of you feel like you always have to be in love. Funny, easy, low maintenance. That's not sustainable. Healed love allows off days without punishment. Scripture says love keeps no record of wrongs. That doesn't mean accountability disappears. It means mistakes aren't stored as ammunition. Many of you stayed in relationships where your past was constantly reintroduced during arguments. That's not love. That's control. Two healed people fight fair. They don't weaponize history. They don't run from hard conversations. They don't confuse avoidance with peace. The letter says, I won't rush you. I just want to see you smile without fear. Fear is the clearest indicator of unhealed dynamics. If you're afraid to speak, to disagree, to rest, something is wrong. Scripture says perfect love casts out fear. Not anxiety, not caution, fear. Healed love feels safe enough to grow. Some of you believe healing must be complete before love arrives. But Scripture shows us healing often continues within covenant. The key is willingness. Two people committed to growth can build something durable even while learning. God does not pair avoidance with vulnerability. He aligns similar levels of self-awareness. This is why some connections feel close but never stabilize. They were emotionally mismatched. Healed people recognize when they need space without using it as punishment. They return. They communicate. They don't disappear. Love that lasts is not dramatic. It's disciplined. It chooses humility over ego, repair over winning. And here's the truth. You don't need someone who never hurts you. You need someone who repairs when they do. That's healing in motion. If this is recalibrating your understanding of love, let it. Because next, we're going to address something critical. Why God often hides the right person until you stop trying to be chosen, and how that shift changes everything. Number 6. God often hides the right person until you stop trying to be chosen. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, especially for people who love deeply. Because when you have a sincere heart, you don't manipulate. You don't play games. You don't pretend not to care. So when love doesn't come easily, the temptation is to try harder, to explain yourself better, to give more, to shrink less offensive parts of yourself. But Scripture never teaches us to audition for covenant. When God hides something, it is not to tease you. It is to realign you. The letter says, I was afraid you'd never wait. That fear wasn't about abandonment. It was about timing. Trying to be chosen often comes from an unhealed belief that love must be earned. But Scripture says we love because He first loved us. Love is not a reward. It is a response. When you try to be chosen, you compromise discernment. You ignore red flags because you're afraid of being alone. You interpret inconsistency as potential. But God will not allow you to enter covenant from a posture of insecurity. This is why certain doors stayed closed no matter how much effort you applied. It wasn't resistance. It was mercy. Scripture says the blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow. If pursuing someone adds anxiety, self-doubt, or emotional instability, that is not alignment. The moment you stop chasing validation, your standards become clearer. You stop asking, do they like me? And start asking, do they have the capacity to love well? That shift changes everything. God hides the right person because when you're in performance mode, you cannot recognize peace. You're too busy trying to be impressive. Love that lasts does not begin with performance. It begins with presence. The letter imagery matters again. A letter doesn't beg to be read. It waits. Healthy love does not force access. It offers consistency until trust forms naturally. Some of you were taught that effort proves love. Effort does matter, but only when it's mutual. One-sided effort is not devotion. It's depletion. Scripture says two are better than one because they lift each other up. Not because one carries the weight while the other consumes. When you stop trying to be chosen, you stop overfunctioning. You stop explaining your worth. You stop chasing closure. And that's when clarity arrives. God often removes distraction before delivering alignment. This is why some of you experienced a season where attention decreased. Fewer messages, less validation, more silence. That wasn't abandonment. That was detox. You were learning how to sit in your own worth without external confirmation. Scripture says, be still and know that I am God. Stillness reveals what striving hides. The right person is not attracted to your exhaustion. They're drawn to your wholeness. You don't attract aligned love by being impressive. You attract it by being integrated. When you stop trying to be chosen, you become selective. Not cold, not closed, discerning. You stop entertaining inconsistency just because it feels familiar. You stop chasing potential and start honoring patterns. God does not reward desperation. He responds to trust. Trust says, I don't need to rush this. Trust says, what's meant for me will meet me in peace. Scripture tells us those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Waiting is not passive. It's posture. It's choosing not to force what God is forming. Some of you are afraid that if you don't try, nothing will happen. But love aligned by God does not require constant maintenance before it even begins. The letter says, I watched others hold your hand in my dreams, and God held me still. That line speaks to restraint. Restraint is a sign of maturity. Unhealed desire rushes. Healed desire waits. God often hides the right person because both of you are learning restraint. Learning how not to settle. Learning how not to grasp. When you stop trying to be chosen, your energy changes. You're not guarded. You're grounded. You're not indifferent. You're secure. And secure people recognize each other. Scripture says deep calls to deep, not shallow calling to shallow. This is why aligned love often feels effortless at the start. Not because it lacks depth, but because it lacks resistance. You're not pulling. They're not pushing. You meet. And here's the truth. If someone requires you to abandon your dignity to keep their interest, they are not your person. God will not bless what diminishes you. The moment you stopped chasing was not the moment love disappeared. It was the moment you made room for the right kind. And in the final section, we're going to bring this full circle. Why when love finally arrives, it will not feel like luck. It will feel like recognition. Number 7. When love finally arrives, it won't feel like luck. It will feel like recognition. This is where everything comes together. Because the love aligned for you is not unfamiliar to your spirit. It doesn't shock you, settles you. Scripture tells us that God places eternity in the human heart. That means some things are recognized, not learned. When the right love arrives, it won't need constant explanation. You won't need to convince yourself it's good. You won't need external validation to feel secure in it. Recognition is quiet. It's the moment your nervous system exhales. The moment your guard lowers without effort. The moment your mind stops scanning for danger. The letter says, when I finally hear your voice, I'll know. That's not romantic exaggeration. That's discernment. Discernment doesn't rush, confirms. Many of you chased chemistry thinking it was destiny, but destiny does not require panic. Scripture says God is not the author of confusion. So if a connection leaves you constantly confused, constantly questioning, constantly doubting yourself, that is not alignment. Recognition does not feel chaotic. Feels clear. You won't feel the need to prove yourself. You won't feel like you have to earn space. You won't feel like you're too much. You will feel seen without being exposed. Recognition feels like being known without being interrogated. Scripture says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. That kind of knowing is gentle. When love arrives in recognition, it doesn't demand urgency. It invites presence. You'll notice that conversations don't drain you. Silence doesn't scare you. Time doesn't feel wasted. The right love doesn't interrupt your life. It integrates into it. The letter says, I won't say much at first. I'll just look at you like you're the answer to every silent prayer. That's not obsession. That's gratitude. Gratitude is a sign of maturity. Immature love takes. Mature love appreciates. Recognition doesn't mean perfection. There will still be differences. Disagreements, moments of misunderstanding, but the foundation is secure. Scripture says love hopes all things. Hope is not denial, it's confidence in process. You won't fear losing yourself in this love, because it doesn't ask you to disappear. Some of you are afraid that if love feels calm, it won't last. But Scripture shows us that what God builds, He sustains. Recognition comes with peace because it's rooted in truth. The right love will honor your past without being threatened by it. It won't compete with your history. It won't minimize your healing. It will respect the road you walk to arrive here. You'll recognize each other not by intensity, but by alignment, values, vision, faith. Scripture says, can two walk together unless they agree? Agreement does not mean sameness. It means direction. The right love walks with you toward growth, not away from it. Recognition feels like coming home without losing independence. You won't feel like you have to abandon boundaries to keep connection. They'll honor them instinctively. The letter ends with, I'll never leave you wondering again. That is one of the clearest markers of aligned love. You won't be left guessing about intentions. You won't be confused by mixed signals. You won't have to chase reassurance. Scripture says, let all things be done decently and in order. Order creates peace. Recognition brings order to your heart. You'll stop romanticizing absence. You'll stop excusing inconsistency. You'll stop hoping potential becomes character. Because you won't need to. Recognition will feel like your prayers found their address. Not because everything is easy, but because everything is honest. And honesty builds trust faster than intensity ever could. This love will not replace God. It will reflect Him. Scripture says every good and perfect gift comes from above. That includes love that heals rather than harms. When this love arrives, you'll look back and realize the waiting didn't weaken you. It refined you. You didn't miss out. You were prepared. And here's the final truth. Love aligned by God doesn't make you forget the pain. It makes sense of it. It doesn't erase your story. It redeems it. If you've stayed with me this far, I want you to hear this clearly. You were not forgotten. You were being formed. If this teaching strengthened you, grounded you, or brought clarity where confusion lived, subscribe to this channel now. Not out of obligation, out of alignment. We build consistency here. We build truth here. We build healing here. And if this message felt like recognition in your spirit, let it stay with you. What God aligns, He sustains. Take a moment and breathe. Not because this was emotional, but because it was clarifying. What you've just received was not a promise of fantasy. It was a restoration of truth. Love aligned by God is not late. It is precise. Everything you've walked through, the waiting, the disappointment, the lessons, the healing, none of it was wasted. Scripture tells us that God works all things together for good for those who love Him. Not some things, all things. You were not overlooked. You were being prepared. The right love does not arrive to rescue you. It arrives to walk with you. It doesn't complete you. It complements the wholeness God has been building in you. If this message reached you at a tender place, let that tenderness remain. Softness is not weakness. It's readiness. The world teaches you to harden your heart to survive. God teaches you to guard it so you can love well. And here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to rush what God is aligning. You don't need to chase what God has already seen. You don't need to lower your standards to meet someone else's limitations. What is meant for you will recognize you. Scripture says those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Waiting doesn't weaken you. It renews you. If you're still standing, still believing, still choosing healing over bitterness, that is not accidental. That is evidence of growth. Now, here's the call to action. If this teaching spoke to your spirit, don't let it stop with you. Subscribe to this channel right now. Not because you need more content, but because consistency builds strength. Every message here is designed to help you discern clearly, love wisely, and heal deeply. This is not surface-level encouragement. This is grounded truth. If you know someone who is waiting quietly, questioning their worth, or healing from love that didn't honor them, share this message. Let it reach them. And if you're in a season of waiting, don't withdraw from life. Stay present. Stay anchored. God does not delay love to punish you. He delays it to protect you. Finally, I want you to do one thing. Pause after this video ends. Not to scroll, not to distract, but to sit with the peace that just settled in your spirit. That peace is not imaginary. It's confirmation. Subscribe now to Daily Motivation Prayers so you don't walk this journey alone. What God begins, He finishes. And what He aligns, He sustains. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where preparation meets promise.